Hello everybody. Here's Martin from Product Fruits, and today I'm not alone here. I'm here with Trond-Daniel, one of our clients. And before we will dive into the webinar, we will give a time to others to join. So I'd like to welcome you. Hi, and you can say hi as well to our chat. So if you go to the Teams, there is a chat option, and you can just say hi to our rest of the clients which are joining here, and also our new clients, current clients, also our tech support team with Amy and Rob. You know them pretty well if you join in a couple of more of our webinars. So say hi to them, and we will start in about 3 minutes. So yeah, use the time and get familiar with the chat, and speak to you soon. And yeah, so hi Trond-Daniel. Thank you for time for joining right now. Just about the topic today and the webinar. Like I was thinking how to start it up, how to chit chat at the beginning a little bit, and it's always problematic to find the right topic. But in your case, as you Mystore and in e-commerce and commerce business, like the question I would ask maybe to ice break a little bit is that what was the first time you actually did a buy online? So what do you remember you buy? What was your first buy online? Like I could be keen to learn that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was probably in the early 2000s. I bought a lot of CDs from a Swedish company called cdon.com. I remember back then there were no fees for importing, so it was super cheap and delivered in just a couple of days. So probably every week a new CD arrived. But that time's gone now.
Okay. Yeah, even the CDs almost, I would say. I can imagine. I remember I think what I bought was some kind of computer accessories, and again early 2000 and across the millennia. It was like Czech first online store. So it was a geeky part when you put your computer together still in that times. Now it's very hard to do that with all of those sealed laptops and everything, but I remember I think it was geeky, something like that in my time. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Also
okay. The
used to be a
CDs.
big fan of eBay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Living in the
so,
north of Norway, it's limited what you can get your hands on. So eBay was like a gold mine.
okay. No, but it was the same in Czech Republic. I think we didn't have that strong base there, but yeah, we have some local store option, especially in IT. But anything else, it was hard to get, to be honest. So yeah, that was same here, to be honest. Yeah, I'm looking for the time. So we are in '03. So I think we can start. So once more, hi everybody. Here's Martin. I'm CPO here in Product Fruits. I hope we spoke together already in past on many other webinars. And today I'm not alone. Here's a Trond-Daniel, the product manager from the Mystore company, to share with you his learnings and journey with Product Fruits. And before we will jump into the presentation, just one more small reminder: use chat, ask questions along the way. Our team will monitor them, and we might reply to some of them along the way. So don't worry to ask for anything. There's also our tech support team, so they can answer your questions if they are more specific. And right now, I think we can jump in right away. And because today the webinar is a little bit different, as I mentioned, I think that it's important that you can also hear from one of our clients, because they can share their journey with product fruits, their issues, their value, where they find it in the product fruits, how they're using product fruits, nice use cases which they figured out with that. So I just felt it's maybe this different format can be also interesting. So that's the reason I think that this could be very interesting, not just for you, but also for me, to be honest. So yeah, I think let's dive in. I would let the space for the Trond-Daniel here to introduce his company, so how his company is doing, what's their focus, and I'll let the space to Trond-Daniel. So please go ahead, Trond.
Yeah, thank you. Like Martin said, my name is Trond-Daniel. I'm the product manager of Mystore, which is currently the largest e-commerce company in Norway. So we serve around 1,200 online stores and 600 POS point of sale stores. Yeah, Product Fruits is extremely valuable to us.
Yeah, thank you, Trond-Daniel. And that's basically the next phase which I wanted to get to, is that I think that Trond-Daniel, your journey with us started like almost 2 years ago. So it was all before all this AI wave, and we were also different. We growing quite quickly, so it looked quite differently. So I would be maybe keen like learn what was your journey generally with the product fruits, like why you even decided for some digital adoption platform like product fruits, and how did you start it with us and why, like what problems you had and what was your motivation, like first step you had to do.
Yeah, so we've always had somewhat of an issue communicating with all the different users in the platform. So we tried all kinds of different tools similar to product fruits. And I think it was during late summer a couple of years ago, I was looking into some competitors of yours, which I tried, and the onboarding felt kind of hard. It took me days. I feel I'm a bit tech savvy, but it took me days to actually set it up and get started. And then by chance, or probably some Google magic, your ad popped up. And I think within an hour or so, I had a proof of concept running with some flows, or that's the tours, the old one, and
Mhm.
a couple checklists. So yeah.
Okay. No, that's good start. And yeah, as you mentioned, the tours and the checklist, I think very prominent products of ours. And what was it like when I thinking about it? It was mainly the onboarding or your initiative, or was it like kind of company forced to go into the direction for the onboarding platform, I would say.
Yeah, we at that moment we were working with a couple other companies, so we needed a feature to onboard new users without the developers having to be involved. Because when you have developers needing to build like a onboarding or a checklist, it takes a lot of time. You have to develop and deploy and that entire process. We needed something that our product manager and employees could easily adjust and add on to without having to go through the development department. So
Ah,
that's the initial start.
okay, no, that's good point. I think I also meeting our clients. A lot of them, same as you, like at the beginning, they're starting to think build their own experiences, and then over the time they learn that sometimes it's a bit more complicated than expected. So I know that I think we're not against it. Like if anybody can build by themselves a lot of stuff, but then the complexity of the tours and the products we have, like the checklists, I think it's going over the head sometimes. At least I feel when discussing also with other clients is that the initial idea is always like, yeah, just set of cards next to each other. It cannot be that complicated. So then you do it in-house, and then you find out that managing it and permissions, all of that stuff, sometimes it's getting over the top a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are here also because, of course, our newly launched product called like flows, which we like to discuss and maybe how we came about those. But generally, like currently, in your stage, where you are actually with the product fruits. I mean, right now in the moment, like for what you're using it, like how it grown since the day one. You mentioned the first initial one was onboarding, and you just bridge something. But from business perspective and point of view, like which problems you solved then and how you're using it now, like how it changed over the time.
Yeah, so we still use it kind of the same way as we did, but we've added on more options and features. So we've always been a fan of the tours. We create both big tours and smaller tours. So often they would replace pop-ups and tooltips because
Mhm.
you could do almost the same thing. But now with flows, it's become even more powerful, and over time we have connected more of our user properties, like our customers, their properties, into product fruits, giving us the possibility to build the segments and
Mhm.
all the logic.
Mhm.
So actually, right now we're able to use product fruits all the way from like the early access phase, beta testing, and all the way into production, and even after production, where we use Elvin and all the knowledge base features.
Okay. So it's not just onboarding anymore, or how you would like, what's the core flows which you I think mentioned? You mentioned the
Yeah,
onboarding.
so yeah, we the onboarding is probably the part we use the least.
Okay.
Now flows we use a lot,
Mhm.
and we also rely 100% on the knowledge base, since those are so linked up to Elvin, which is also something we use every day and has helped us a lot. So I think currently flows and the knowledge base and Elvin is the three things that we use every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's good to hear because from our data, what's still visible, and I understand that everybody has some different knowledge bases, is that there's like, clients are still hesitant with the knowledge bases. So there's of course tours. Everybody loves tours, and now the flows are
Yeah.
here. But those kind of tools I feel still kind of underused. So we're keen to learn how to bring in even like for the higher usage, because yeah, knowledge base is quite important for the support agents and agenting future, let's say. But yeah, the topic which we want to touch is definitely the flows. I know you already mentioned it a few times, but can um, I need to reiterate on that because I know that there are participants and people who didn't using product fruits yet or didn't try to use flows yet. So just very short intro window. What are the flows? So in our right now product, we have the main product which is called Tours, and Tours, which mentioned also Trond-Daniel, it's basically one card next to each other. So your clients sign up to your application, and for example, you will show them one card which will welcome them, and then show them the highlight in the UI, some element like menu item, and explain them what it is and what they should do, etc. I'll simply guide them through the product a little bit. But right now, tours are limited in a way that they just a kind of set of cards. Of course, there is some smartness, but it's limited how flexible they can be. And because current world and even products is much more challenging, and we want to push at the boundaries, of course, we had to introduce something completely new. We call it flows, and basically the flows are the product which are kind of succeeding in this next version of tours. But it's not just a tours; it's kind of like a platform product because it's not just about the set of cards. It's not just about guiding users, as you will also see from the demo from Trond-Daniel here. Actually, quite interesting use case there. It's also like enables you some kind of automations. It's also bring together more possibility to branch the flow for different users based on their different needs and different conditions and different properties. So you can simply enough customize the flow per each user much more. And also the flow is not anymore just, as I mentioned, about the cards, but it can do also see certain actions. It can combine AI elements, transformations, and do partially some kind of jobs or actions. So it's not just the passive showing the cards, but it's getting much further. It can even send an email, a Slack message, etc. So it's really like partially automation, partially workflow, hence the flow name. So that's what I mentioned here is that the biggest take here is that flows is a combination of the guidance, logic, and actions, right? So which you can bring together. And I think from the demo from Daniel, you will see the more because I don't want to be that much theoretic. Today is mainly about the practical examples. And again, once more, I want to encourage you to ask questions along the way. So, after the demos, we'll probably pause a minute and definitely discuss some questions, topics regarding to us or to Daniel, right? He's in the same spot as you are. So yeah, let's do the kind of maybe demo or maybe before that, I see that I skipped one slide here. So regarding the flow, so I just write Trond-Daniel, right? And you mentioned as well that you transition to them from the tours and from a checklist are still great, but from the tours mainly, like what was first impression of the flows, right? Like when you saw them, right? Using the tours a lot of our clients do. Like what was the biggest, like, I would say the value, but also where have you been a little bit cautious, right? What was like, okay, this could be a little bit problematic. Like, not just the positive, but also like the point of view which maybe made you, I don't know, hesitant a little bit or.
Yeah. So at the beginning, we had used tours a lot. And flows are completely different. So first impression was that this looks really nice. And then we started to build, and my mindset was to build it the exact same way as tours. So at first it actually felt a bit harder. And I remember we talked about that,
Yeah, I
that
know. I
it felt a
remember
bit harder.
that.
But then after just a little while, it kind of clicked, and we saw all the possibilities. So instead of just going for the same features as we used in tours, I actually started experimenting with all the different options and features. So I really encourage everyone to spend some time with it and try out the different tools. Create a local segment that only you see and try for yourself. But when it first clicked, it has been amazing. There's so many possibilities with the branching and the updates of properties. Like I'll show a bit later, it really helps us through the entire workflow we have now. So it's really, really powerful. The tours is more like a static cards. You just follow one road, but with the flows, you have a lot more options. And not to mention, it looks a lot better when you have it in the in the UI.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you for that. I remember that discussion. Like we tested the flows for the first time, and you'll be in the pilots, and then there was like excitement. Then they say, "Hey, Martin," it's actually the feedback was it actually feels a bit harder and more challenging. And I was get a little bit scared if something conceptual is very bad, and because it takes us a lot of time to bring it. But then I know that there is a learning curve, and we had that feedback also from our other pilot clients that it is different to tours a little bit. And it's not just a set of cards. The mindset can be a little bit different because you can put there those actions and everything. So the playing with that, I think it's actually a great experience. We doing it sometimes as well to discover some use cases which you would never think of. So, and maybe a couple of those we will see today, but yeah, it's different one. And the UI as well, as you mentioned, we try to make it a little bit or much more nicer and easier to do. I know the tours editor was a little bit painful there. It was actually our first product, which our CEO coded himself years ago. So it was felt in there. But yeah, in matter of that, maybe I don't want to prolong the demo there, but I'm still interested in matter of the getting in the flows, like how you started with that. You mentioned that you created some flows and the segments. And like, did you start it since because I'm a little interested, like, did you start it from scratch or try to mimic some existing flow, or, what was the kind of first, use case which pop up on your mind when you saw that product? I don't know.
Yeah, I remember we had done some changes in our UI, and what we often use product fruits for is creating like something that looks like a regular tooltip, but instead we use the tours. So you got the second card with more info. So I tried to recreate that in the flows. And at first it's quite a bit different since you do most of it in the editor and not the preview. So that felt that was brand new. So it was a bit back and forth there. But it didn't take long for us to see the value and understand how you can connect each of the cards and make it look like a tooltip and then a pop-up. So the first flow was really easy. I think it was just 2 cards, basically, just a small announcement that this has changed.
No, that's cool. Like sometimes it's enough. We still like kind of but link with the best practices, and really sometimes we see that our clients can do like 15 cards without the conditions or anything. So I think this the less is sometimes better in this sense. And yeah, I definitely remember as well the discussion regarding to editing the flows in the admin, so it's not on top of your applications. And to be very honest, fully transparency here, we have also been worried about how it will be accepted by you as our clients, and generally how you get used to it, because we were aware it's a big change of a pattern, to be honest, because it is different, but it was intentional because we can allow you to do much more there rather than on top of application in an extension of browser. So it's optimized also for multi-display layout. So if you have more displays, it's kind of fit there nicely.
Yeah, I could just say now, after having used it for, I don't know, some months, I really don't think about that anymore. Now it makes total sense to just add all the cards and do everything in the admin, and do a trail run in the in the preview. So yeah,
No,
and
that,
also the switching of tabs is at first kind of confusing, but then when you understand that it's always in sync, it's super nice.
no, that's glad to hear. I know I would still get rid of the learning curve, of course, as much as possible, but I understand it's there. So yeah, I hope that and all of you guys will not be discouraged by it. There is some difference there, but yeah, try to work on it. We try to make it also easier in future with templates and other stuff. But here's the thing, I think I speak too much. So what we will do there is that let's go to the demo, right? So I just switch here. What you will see in the demo is just some of the use cases. John asked Trond really like it's not prepared. This is what really Trond-Daniel created with the team, and I was amazed by how they think about it. So let's dive in. Maybe if you can just introduce Trond,
Yeah.
the thinking behind it and everything. Take even the screen share. Yeah, floor is yours.
So you can see my screen now.
Yeah, we can see it, at least I. Hopefully the rest of you guys as well.
Yeah, great. So probably as like with you, now that AI is there a lot of things are happening all the time, and really, really fast. So we're developing in a speed we never were able to before. And when doing that, we need customers to actually try the new features. Earlier, we had this like a HubSpot form where you had to apply and we had to create and update the segments based on names. But then I started looking into the new features of the flows. And there you have the option to update user properties. So what I've created here is a flow which first checks for a specific user property. So we call it pilot customer, which is like the early access customers on the beta, testing beta features. And then if it's true, we know that you are already part of that group. So we show you this card, which kind of uploads you for being early access tester. And then you have the option to actually opt out, stop testing this. Yeah, and then it just confirms what you've done, and it shows a toast notification confirming your action. And then when you leave it, it actually updates the user prop, so it sets it to false, which also means you won't be prompted to test new things. On the other side, if you don't have it, you can actually opt in, which will add you to a segment of early access users. So whenever we have something new, we can choose to display it only to early access users, and you automatically get a pop-up and you can continue the flow learning the new tool. So how this looks in our admin, it's like this. So up here, this is the Alvin button we have, which shows our own icon.
Okay.
But from here, you can go to the shortcuts. And here you see you already have the early access property set. When you have early access, you also get the feedback option. So only the early access customers have the option to give feedback directly in the platform. So when you use this, you can actually select which one of the features you are testing right now. And when that is being sent in, it actually pushes the notification to our Slack channel so we can follow up the users there. And yeah, I can go here and click this. So I get the model and I can leave the early access list. When I've done that, I won't be seeing any more pop-ups. I also won't have the feedback option down here. So this has been an amazing tool for us. It's super easy for us to actually invite customers. We do the same when they opt into a specific feature. So we can set a user property. For example, this feature here, it's a new email builder. So when you start using that, you get an email pilot feature flag set, which makes it possible for us to show announcements and banners and pop-ups to only the users actually testing this feature.
Oh, this is cool. Maybe you can leave it on the canvas there, maybe drawn
Yeah.
to like yeah, like there. And I think this is the amazing use case, and this what I saw it. Trond-Daniel came about it, and with the team, it's like what I like about this is that you would not think that this is even onboarding, right? It's kind of it's more logic packed in the flow, and basically user self classifies himself or herself to to the feature and kind of self manages that. So it's like I would not say small app, but it's small logics encapsulated there, which normally would not be totally possible, I think, with tours. And I don't know how you did it before, Trond, actually, or if you did it even, or was not non-existent, or.
There was a lot of manual work. Like I said, we customers had to submit a form, and we took their email and we noted it down, and we manually added it to segments. And from there, it was more or less the same. We pushed pop-ups to specific segments, but this is automated. It's all up to the customers. We don't have to do anything.
Yeah. No, this is cool.
Yeah.
I really, when I see it first, I say, yeah, it's really like it has a card when you look at it, but aside of it, it's mainly built based on this logic and updating the props and conditions. It's even not look that complicated from the chart when you look at it. And basically, what you create is a nice self-classification, which I think shows quite a difference between the tours and the flows quite a lot. And
Yeah.
you know, I'm not sure how long it took you to create it, but.
No,
Maybe.
I don't think it was probably like 10, 15 minutes, a little bit of trial and error. But it went quite fast. But there's also some more things in the background, like updating the correct segments and then reusing the segments different places in the in the product fruits. So that's also a big part of it.
What I'm interested here, like how you tested it, right? I think that's always like a good question is like, you know, if you have this logic and when I look at it, what's your approach to like creating it? So
yeah, my test is always to I have a segment set for our employees only. So I basically just publish it to that specific segment and I test it in a production store. And I opt in and opt out and try everything and reset because you have the reset admin tools. I reset and I go again and I try it like a customer would.
Okay. No, that's good. Because we have those previews options, but I know from our clients that, you know, that would be best to have it just in preview, but it's never the same as your real user. So actually doing it for us. Well, yeah, go ahead.
We have a few different code bases, like the new and the old part, which you're probably familiar with. So with the preview, it's a bit harder because I need to update the URL and stuff like that. But if I just publish it to my segment, I can move around our entire platform to test that it works on every instance.
Okay. No, this is cool. Maybe Lukáš, there's also Lukáš from our team. If there are any maybe questions towards, you know, so far to our discussion, I think. So I'm not just asking the question, but this is interesting.
Yes. Hi. There have been some questions in the chat. Some were answered. There were really product fruits functionality wise questions, but there are some questions that I think are right for Trond-Daniel, maybe for you, Martin. So first one was if you have any data or indication that the flows actually helps increasing retention.
So when we're using the flows, we're also using the statistics, and I try to always see where the customer fall off and if they're actually viewing everything. So we use the statistics for flows a lot to see if customers are actually using the platform and the new features the way we intend to.
And second question is regarding localization. I know that you run Mystore in multiple languages, so you have some toggles there. So do you see any advantage already as you use flows with localization features?
Yeah, I don't think the tours had translations. I can't quite remember, and we've removed a couple of languages now, but now you can create one flow or announcement or whatever, and with one click of a button, it's translated. Also with the translation, what's it called, like the dictionary, you can really tweak this to suit you. So we've saved a bunch of time being able to translate. So it's really powerful if you have several languages.
Yeah, there just to mention, tours also had a automatic translation, but very just not that long time ago. So it was quite new added, but not so powerful as in flows. So yeah, as Trond mentioned. And also, Trond-Daniel, I realized that you mentioned the feature, which I think we underselling a little bit. And there is actually in settings, there is option when you can set up the dictionary of the terms which you don't want to translate or should be translated a certain way. And I just realized that maybe not everybody's aware of that. So it's in the settings, in the translations, it's related there. This is good point. Actually, this is good question. So yeah, we have it as well there.
Someone just wrote in the chat that I just checked out the translation tool and tours is great. So good news. Another question that just landed a moment ago: how did you get your user properties into product fruits at first, and what was the minimum set you needed before flows became useful?
Yeah, so we have some custom properties which we're using the API, so everything is quite tightly connected. And in that one, we transfer what kind of customer it is. So we have the name of the customer, the tenant name, which is the unique identifier. Then we also have things like the package, like the plan they're on, which stack, stuff like that. We try to avoid GDPR sensitive content. So we don't have personal data. And that was necessary for us in order to use this, because we need to be able to push flows and even announcement to specific packages or specific users. We also transfer absolutely every configuration setting we have in our platform. So we can create flows only for users that uses a specific tool of ours or a specific setting. So it's we can really drill it down a lot. But now we update most properties directly in product fruits.
No, thank you for that. And again, I think when I think about it, it's kind of underestimated as well, because it feels like a feature that you have a lot of those properties. So sometimes users, of course, try to push a little bit less, which is fine to start with. But once you go to the conditions, segments, and all of that stuff, yes, it can be quite powerful, because you can really target exactly the right users and even update it here in the flow. So yeah, that's also one. Maybe to move forward, I think we have maybe one or two more examples. So we can just take another questions right after that, and still use the chat, guys. Just ask the questions. This is for you. So feel free to ask for anything. No bad questions right there.
Yeah, so we have this one. I actually worked on it yesterday, and this is a good example on the flows. I rewrote something we previously used at least 2 flows for, but now with conditions we can check a lot more. So we can check if they have a specific one of our features, and if they do, we check for the package, and if that's true, we can proceed with this flow. And even at the end of this flow, we circle back to the main flow. So the only difference here is based on your type of package or plan in our platform. The first 2 cards are different, and then we circle back, and you get a regular card instead. So this previously was at least 2 complete tours or flows.
And this one, just what it solves for you. So when I look at it, what's the main business thinking around it?
Yeah, so this is our customer club. So the customer club is only available for customers on a specific plan. So when you go to the new page, we check if you already have the new customer club, and then this one proceeds, and it just guides you through the setup and the UI. If you don't have it, we check if you have the correct package. If you have the correct package, you have the option to activate the feature, and then you get like a notification. But if you don't have it and you're not on the correct package, you get a toast notification that you actually need to upgrade your plan in order to start using the feature.
Okay, no, this is cool. And these conditions, we saw that. It's yeah, it was hard to do and previously almost impossible.
And this is one of the configs that's sent from our system. So it's a module that has been configured. But this is a bit tricky because it says that it doesn't contain, and then you get to the true part. And I think we have a few flows where the segment is quite complex with several rules, and then you have the starting point with another set of rules.
Okay. Now it can get pretty complicated. It allows you those go-to cards, and again, segmentation is quite key here. And we know that we need to add there also enlisted conditions for our clients. It's big ask as well. So it's getting there. But it's nice to see. Again, it looks kind of complicated, but it's just basically a couple of conditions, but it can basically module for you quite nice flow right there. Because I think just one note before we'll get to this one is just one thing is that what I feel, at least it's my thinking, is that the flows kind of sometimes evoke that they need to be complicated to be useful. Okay, so because when you start to play with that, we also saw that we have a tendency, of course, explore, which is fine, because through that you learn new things. But I think that there is a really bad, assumption that the flows has to be very complicated and have thousands, sometimes nodes and all of the stuff. It's there, so it can help you to model those very complicated situations, but you don't have to overuse it, right? So this is it's also a good point.
Yeah, this is a quite simple one.
Okay.
Yeah. This is one of the simple ones. So I think it's just, it has just a filter for the URL. So the first time a customer opened that page, it gives you 4 simple cards. Nothing more than that. So it's just to get you started and to introduce you to the new UI, because we're moving a lot of our features. So things change a lot. So we have these onboarding flows for users.
Okay, no, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's basically tour. So when you think about it, you can create just a tour in the flow. That's fine. And I think we have there also migration tool. So actually for those from you guys who have a tours, you can migrate the simple tours to the flows by click of a button as well, I realized. So it should also simplify the transition. Oh, yeah. Just 2 cards.
Here's here's a even easier one. This is more a replacement for tooltips.
Okay.
Because it's just a small pop-up right beside a button. And if you click it, you get the card that explains how this actually works, like how you interact with the new feature. And if you don't, you can just close it.
Okay. So, the formatting
this is super
nice.
easy.
Oh, this is cool. I have to admit there was a times which I definitely replaced even pop-ups by 1 card flow. So
yeah, we do that as well. Absolutely.
Yeah, it starts with more
now
functionality.
Yeah, I think now the flows has such a nice UI of the pop-up itself. So I often opt for that instead of the pop-ups, simply because it looks so good to the user.
Oh no, I'm doing it. Yeah, it's pretty versatile there. Do you have any more questions, Lukas? Anybody? Any questions are okay.
Yes, some more. There's a lot of technical discussion going on in the chat, but I did pick some that actually are, I think, right for either of you. First one goes maybe to Trond-Daniel. Flow versus tour. How do you decide which to show users around a specific platform with features? And maybe addition to you, Martin, across multiple URLs.
Yeah, now I always go for the flows. It's that easy because now to me it's just as easy or maybe easier to build flows than tours. And you have the templates. It's super easy to copy paste, and we do more tracking. Like we update the user properties and custom events. So tours is like a powerhouse for that.
And another question related to that, are you migrating or building the flows anew instead of old tours, for example?
We're building it again. Me and my product marketing manager are the ones building flows. So I don't think we've migrated anyone, not yet at least.
Okay. Okay, so I think we can move forward. There'll be still space for the questions there. So after the demo, I think that we can, if needed, show more. But generally, or looking at this, maybe on top of this as well, is that you spoke about your suggestion, Trond-Daniel, for the other teams, because I know that there are others who are just trying and playing with the flows, and we partially discussed it here. I think already is like. My point is that what we learn generally from onboarding platform is the first step is sometimes the hardest. So, like from your experience, what was like the first, I would say get to the success or get to some kind of value? Like what you would recommend, looking back, I know that flows with us are not that, months or years, but looking back when you first created the first flow, what you would do differently, or it's a very practical one, even like it can be either conceptual, like how we think about it, but also very detailed one, right? We have here our current customers and clients, like what was the learnings, like how to do something maybe differently, what will save you the most time? I don't know, like anything which is say, yeah, but wish I know it sooner, right? It would help me.
Yeah, good question. I think it would be to dig a bit deeper into all these options, because it's really easy when you use the tours to just go for the card every time, but actually dig into all of these blocks. I see new blocks that I haven't seen before, like the multi-condition. Yeah. So you have a lot of features here. So I would say dig into that, and also use Elvin to kind of figure out how things work. Because there's a lot of new features that's really, really powerful that you maybe are not looking for because you don't know they're existing. So but start small, like create a card or two, and then add on to it.
Okay. No, that's good tip. And you're actually right that multi-condition we added like yesterday, and because we still labeled the flows in early access, even though they moved quite quickly, we still didn't like put every new stuff which you'll see there. There's still much more coming actually. So we also added there like yesterday that when you creating a new flow, you can actually create it from template. So if you go to the flows, Trond-Daniel, and then think, and normally in the flows, like it's here. So. It just you can search with them to get you started a little bit quicker. It was not there yesterday, so it's changing all the time. But this is good advice. The Elvin, this is good point as well. Like to be fairly honest, since we launched Elvin last year, the first assumption everybody has about Elvin, because that's the one, the help button which you see in the corner there on Trond-Daniel's screen. Everybody says this is just support guy. So, users are very often used to get there only if they have a problem, right? But actually right now, because of the knowledge which we put there, you can literally ask also about best practices, right? You can ask about new product and you say, you can ask the question like, help me to do with this or think about that. And what do you think about this? I'm not saying we're just like very general purpose one, but regarding the platform, it helps. So this is actually a good point, is that we see it as well that still users sometimes treat it as just support if you have a heavy issue, but if you want to help, because of course Elvin knows about all of those nodes and functions. So if you ask how I can build this, it will be there. And there's no secret. We of course working on something more advanced that you literally describe your problem and we will build the flow for you. So it's coming, but it's just help you to iterate. Of course, it won't do all of your job, but it can help you to get started at least. But this is actually a good point as well. And to move even further, again, there'll be time for questions at the end as well. Is that maybe one general question? I'll just take the screen, Daniel, from you, because there's just one slide actually, nothing too fancy, and that's this question. I just wanted to open that topic because generally AI and agents and everybody. I think we hear it like everywhere, right? So of course, we investing a lot of effort to it because we see their value, but sometimes it can be overwhelming. I feel at least. Because it's everywhere, like everything is agentic, everything has a input box and etc. And I would like to kind of hear your honest take, not just for the product fruits. I mean, generally, right? When you think about AI, about agents, like how you think about it, like from perspective of your company, like generally.
Yeah, so there's always a lot of talk about AI and agentic AI and agents and all of that. But I think it's important to use it, like keep it as a tool, not necessarily to replace anyone, but it's a fantastic tool to speed up productivity. So in Product Fruits, we've been using the translations a lot since that launched. That's a big time saver. We also started using Elvin, or even before Elvin, with the Copilot.
Yeah.
But we started with Elvin when it launched. And of course, it's something new. Many customers don't want to talk to AI. They want a person. That's probably one of the things we see and most often is customers asking for support instead. So on those things, it's really important to keep your sources up to date. So I have a workflow with Claude that creates knowledge base articles from code and then pushes it all into Product Fruits using the knowledge base API. I saw there were a question about that earlier, but we actually push everything directly with the knowledge base API, which means that when we launched something new, Elvin already knows about it. So you can answer questions even before the product has actually launched. But it's big time savers using AI and agents. But I must admit, I'm also one of those who is a bit skeptical and want to talk to a person.
Yeah. No, this is fair. Like we as well, like at the beginning, we had a tendency, like everybody in the area, to be again honest, like maybe push it too much, right? We felt that AI is the future. We see it. We're so excited that we say, all of you, right, our clients, are like, yeah, we want it, right? But of course, there's a lot of challenges and also learning curve and as well adoption learning curve of your end users, and also some kind of hurdles. Like in your case, Trond-Daniel, like have you in your company had like what was the biggest challenge actually to start with any AI in the product fruits, but generally also maybe with Claude or any AI in your company? Because I feel it's a big topic. Is like it seems like if you're sitting there and looking at it, you say, yeah, it makes sense, everything. But there are hurdles, I think, and it's not that simple to maybe push it through the company. So how was it in your company?
Yeah, so we quite early started playing with AI, and at the early phase, it wasn't really that good, which made especially a lot of developers skeptical. Like they didn't want to use it because it didn't give that good results. But I think at the beginning of March, we had a workshop, a new workshop, and then things changed a lot. Then you had Claude, and you had more advanced models, which made things a lot easier. So yeah, at the beginning it was definitely hard. The hardest part was to get everyone on board, since the result wasn't always that good. You could do the same yourself, but those things are changing week by week, I guess.
Okay, and was it like this is just for me, honestly, and then I'll definitely open question for others. I don't want to steal it, but for me, it's like, what was the biggest blocker? The quality of the AI generally, or like also because of course with AI we always heard, and even from some of our clients, but maybe it's not your case. I'm not sure here, like regarding the governance, the managing the data, the models, and then ability to pull back the data. So simply enough, the government's framework, legal, or those kind of challenges. Like, did you also have it in the company? If you're okay with it, to speak about it, or was it like much simpler to get it through?
I think the biggest hurdle for us were we have several code bases, which some of them are quite large. We have like monolith files that are just insanely big with several thousand lines of code in one file. And at the beginning, the AI had a bit of a problem figuring out what was going on, and it could, instead of fixing a small issue, it could rewrite
Okay.
like tens of files. But that has gotten a lot better. So those were the main problems at the beginning. Just the output basically.
Okay. So Lukas, maybe I think we're almost at the end of our presentation. So do you have any questions? I think this is the time for the questions. Also, before we start with them, this you can just see in front of your screens, everybody, if you need to help or if the flows with anything in product fruit and get, started and learn from a journey of our clients. And as you can see, it is really, really like some learning curve, but after that, it's quite interesting product which can do quite a lot for you, not just onboarding. So here's the QR codes. You can book the time slots with Rob and Adam. And yeah, right now, Lukas, any other questions?
Yes, there are a few. Aside from the technical ones, there are many technical ones.
Okay.
With regards to Elvin, because you are talking about people liking, not liking AI, talking to it, how do you handle human handoff?
We allow for customers to just ask for a support agent, and they will be put through if the support is actually open. So we will open a new chat similar to what you do in the product fruit administration, and then we use the Elvin guidance. I can't exactly remember the name, but where you like the tone of voice. I have some inputs there, like if the support is closed for some hours, I can actually update the tone of voice to reflect that. And then after a user has been in contact with support, we have the reconnect with support button available for 1.5 hours, I think. But we always aim for users to go through AI first. That's like the only way we can figure out if it's good enough and what we need changing. And now we have like a resolve rate of 55%, I think. And the support team also says that Elvin takes a lot of the minor issues.
No, thank you for that answer. I'd just like to elaborate for those who might not using these functions and in Elvin there is actually a function which Trond-Daniel also mentioned, is that if you in the Elvin enable the feedback, if Elvin detects the intent for the feedback from the user or human support, it can offer the button or even show it, so then users can click on it. Because as we discussed with Trond-Daniel, as you also mentioned, Daniel, is that human support is human support, right? So AI is great, but it's not for everything, and we are aware of that. So you can even segment it, etc. So you can steer the right experience, the right user. So definitely there's option to getting the right people to the humans, right? Still, but one thing interesting which you mentioned actually, just very shortly to elaborate on that, and you mentioned it, very nicely, is that you trying to steer a lot of your users to the AI first, because otherwise you cannot learn. And this is very interesting paradigm which we learned as well from all of you guys, but also us personally as a product fruits, is that there is a chicken egg problem right there. Is that first, there's kind of worry. It's like, okay, is our sources good enough that Elvin will respond quite good? But if you don't turn it on, you will never know, right? Because you cannot just prepare the knowledge base without properly testing it. So you can write beautiful sources for Elvin, but without testing it and going through the real data, real questions, real queries, it's very hard to find out where you need to improve it. So there's kind of this interesting you touched it. This kind of interesting chicken egg problem is like, we worry to start because quality is not good, but if you don't start, the quality will not get better, right? So that's that leap which sometimes needs to take place. But even on our side, we saw that at the beginning, the first word users write to Elvin was human. Okay, that was only word that they write to Elvin. They wanted to speak with human. Right now, we can see the conversations for like 12 or even more turns with Elvin asking actually quite challenging questions. So it is learning path. I know you cannot force it just too much, but this is interesting. This is an interesting one.
We also use it internally. So we tell our employees to, if they have a question, try asking Elvin, because then we can figure out if he actually can answer those questions or if we need to improve on the sources.
That's cool. Me as well. I don't remember absolutely every feature we have or function. We have a lot of them, so also using it quite a bit. Okay, maybe we have 5 more minutes, so maybe a couple more questions if there are any.
Well, one was just answered because there was a question about what kind of knowledge or types of questions you use Alvin for, and I guess it's whole product knowledge, not just thing related to onboarding. That was the question about, so we don't need to cover that. But there was a follow-up question to the handoff process. What do you include in the handoff? For example, conversation summary or even something else?
Yeah, we are using the custom provider. So we have a HubSpot chat, and there we have the AI summary. So when the chat appears in our HubSpot, it has a summary of what the customer had an issue with and what they want to figure out and who the customer is. So the support representative can actually get a nice intro before answering the customer.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Let me see if there's something else that's not technical really. Yeah. What about that? This was earlier discussed, but I think it's good to bring it out. When you design the flow, do you have any rules for number of custom properties, like not to have too many of them? Is there anything like that?
We usually try to stick to one. If you mean like updating or setting a custom property, it's usually just the one. But we can use several if we try to segment on the user properties. Yeah, depending on what we want to show.
And another thing, when you have, I'm not sure if you have any flows that run for a longer time. Like we have this option that you have this waiting functionality there that you can put in the flow. If you have any flows like that, what do you do when you update them and some users might be midway through the flow?
Well, actually, my product marketing manager is the one who has been playing with those. But I know we have a few flows which has a wait time for I think 30 minutes, 30 days, and then it pushes out a survey. So it triggers another product, which is a survey, and then we ask, or like we tell the customers that we see you've been using this for 30 days now. How's it working out for you? So we get the natural follow-up after some time. But I'm not sure what happens if he changes it midway.
Yeah. No, that's a good question. Like, there are a couple of approaches how you can do it actually from product perspective. Is that it depends what's important for you in a sense, how big of a change is it? So the point is that if the change is really radical, so for example, you realize you have there some massive mistake or anything, the good thing is just to actually duplicate that flow to make sure that everybody gets the same experience and restart it, excluding the segment which already get that experience. Or you can that's I think the best way, because you can then make sure that nobody gets further in that flow. Of course, you don't have to break that experience if it's not so urgent. You can simply enough just let the users in that flow and just again duplicate it and then create a new one for the which is kind of fixed right there to make sure that what happens. So that's the best way I think to control it. So you know that you're getting from one stable state to another stable state, like in technical like databases. But yeah, if you have those more waiting states, it's really good to maybe finish it or let the users finish if it's not mess up your data or what you're doing or it's minor thing. So you get for that flow the stable data, right? Because otherwise, here's the thing: if you change dramatically the flow, once it's running, you also need to realize that the data will be quite skewed, right? Because for example, if you rework half of the flow along the way, not just users will get different experiences along the way, but also the data will be quite clumsy because of course it's like a different flow, it's completely different experience, so it doesn't tell you that much, which is hard solvable without like relaunching it or changing it.
We're at a full hour. We have one more good question. I don't know if you have time for that. It's for Trond. When we are talking about properties, which, in your experience, are the most useful in flows?
User properties?
Yeah, when you design flow.
Yeah, we use like the custom properties a lot to see if a customer has taken part in specific beta or early access features. That's something we use a lot, but also for different plans, because that makes us we could try to curate something that looks like upsell, so we could post it to a plan that doesn't have a feature, and we can edit the flow to make it look more interesting and make them want to upgrade in order to use the feature.
Okay, I think that's the ultimate final tip.
Okay, so thank you all. There'll be definitely recording. Thank you for participating. There'll be more of those webinars. Thank you very much, Trond-Daniel, for participating and showing what you have created with the team. And I'm looking forward for all of you guys to create much more with the flows. We're not stopping. There's much more coming to them as always. So looking forward to it. Also, reply to that email. Tell us what you would like to see more, what you like, what you don't like for the next webinars. And for me at least, it was very, very interesting. So yeah, I hope you liked it, and see you soon and any of those webinars. So bye.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Trond-Daniel.
No problem. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.